Welcome back to Clark's Ring Rants. Let's get straight into today's video. So, Shakur Foster retains his WBC Super Featherweight world title with a majority. I thought it was unanimous, but we'll get into that. Decision victory over Raymond Ford in Texas. He then went on to put it on Shakur Stevenson after the fight. They had a bit of back and forth. Let's talk about it all. As always, if you like what you see, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you. Back into the video. So, going into this fight, I got the impression that this one was a bit even. It was a bit of a 50-50, I guess you could say. You had Ray Ford. He'd recently stepped up from featherweight, where he lost his title a couple of years back to Nick Ball in a fight which was razor close, and I believe it could have gone anyway. Unfortunately, he didn't get the decision. He cited being weight drained and a few other factors. He started slowing that fight. So yeah, he's moved up to super featherweight, and since then he's strung together a few victories, and he's managed to land himself this shot at Shakur Foster. Now, Shakur Foster's a fighter who had a bit of a slow start in his professional career. He racked up a few defeats early, but he seemed to have found his groove now. He's looking $1 million at super featherweight, and he showed it again here in this fight. It was a really tentative opening, and one thing that Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora, the guys on commentary noted was, although Ray Ford's a southpaw and Shakur Foster fights out of an orthodox stance, they were almost a carbon copy of each other in terms of their biomechanics, the punch sequences, the punches they were throwing, the combinations, everything. It's almost like they were mirroring each other, but just from the opposite stance. I want to say in the early rounds, Ray Ford, he's a bit sharper, he's got quicker hands, he's shorter, more compact. He probably throws crisper punches. He probably got the better of it, but if you're ever going to score a 10-10 round, which I absolutely hate to do, you'd be well within your rights to do that for that first round. There was absolutely nothing to split the two men. Nothing happened. It was pretty even. To me, the highlight of the fight and the funniest moment came in the second round when I think Shakur Foster misjudged the distance and he ended up clinching Ray Ford. And then he 360 body slam, sort of threw him out of the ring like a javelin. Ray Ford went flying face first out of the ring onto the floor. And it took him a while to get back in the ring. Luckily, he wasn't seriously hurt. But how Shakur Foster wasn't deducted any points or even disqualified for this WWE-esque move was astounding. It was hilarious. Obviously, glad Ray Ford's okay, but he launched him. He chucked him out of the ring and he went flying. But yeah, they got back in the ring. I want to say Ray Ford was getting the better of the early rounds, but in the middle portion of the fight when Shakur Foster sort of figured out the range, he worked out some angles to get his punches off. He dominated from around round 6, I want to say. And after that, I'd really struggled to give a round to Ray Ford. And we know Ray Ford scored a few knockouts late. We know he's not usually a fast starter in fights. He finishes well. In this fight, it was the inverse of that. He started well. He was hitting Shakur Foster with some good shots. He was looking sharp. He was looking crisp on the counter. That reverse 1-2, he had a lot of success with that early in the fight. But he sort of looked to fade down the back stretch of the fight, and Shakur Foster took over. He picked him off. His distance control of Shakur Foster in this fight was absolutely sublime, and Ray Ford just couldn't close the gap like he was doing in the earlier rounds. Now, some people are saying he struggled to make weight. They're calling his conditioning into question, and I'd have to echo those concerns because he looked knackered in the second half of this fight. Shakur Foster looked like he had another gear, looked like he could have fought for 15 rounds at that pace, whereas Ray Ford was really blowing, and towards the back end of the fight, especially those rounds 10, 11, 12, Ray Ford must have known there was a very, very good chance the fight was, at best case, going to be close, or worst case scenario, it was going to be losing on the cards, and he needed to step on it, but he never did, and Shakur Foster won a decision. One judge had it a draw, not sure what you were watching. 118, 110 is probably a bit wide, and I think the other judge had it 116, 112. That's a fair scorecard. 8 rounds to 4. That's something similar to what I saw. But the most interesting part, other than the body slam, was Shakur Foster and Shakur Stevenson getting straight to it in the ring after the fight. They were calling each other out. Some unpleasantries were exchanged, and Shakur Stevenson looked massive in there next to Shakur Foster. That's one thing I will say. And these guys do not like each other. I think I know a bit of backstory. I think Ray Ford and Shakur Stevenson trained together. Maybe that's right. Don't quote me on that. And I think Shakur Foster and Shakur Stevenson have had some beef in the past. They've sparred. And since the fight last night, I've seen a video on X or Instagram, I'll try to get it up on screen here, where Shakur Stevenson's manager has come out and said Shakur Stevenson used to beat up, bully, and he made Shakur Foster quit in sparring. Shakur Stevenson called Shakur Foster a bum in there, said he doesn't want it with him. And listen, if I were Shakur Foster, listen, if he's game, if he wants to go up, if he wants to step up 2 weight divisions, £10, to go and challenge Shakur Stevenson is well within his rights to do that. I don't think that'd be advisable for his career at this stage. What I'd like to see him do instead is fight Emmanuel Navarrete or even Anthony Cacace. But the Navarrete fight in America makes sense. They could do it in Texas, one of these southern states, build up a bit of a rivalry, and then we can find out who's the best man at £130, because we've got unfinished business. Yeah, I like this, calling Shakur Stevenson out, not being afraid, not ducking the smoke, wanting to challenge yourself, but just clean up the mess in your division first. Navarrete's a hell of a fighter. He put a beating on Shakur Nunez earlier in the year. So why not fight him next, Shakur Foster? Then you can go and have your little dust up with Shakur Stevenson. But what do you think? What should Shakur Foster do next? Should he pursue this Shakur Stevenson fight? Should he move over to the WWE and just start wrestling? Or should he unify with Navarrete? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.